What if I told you that I could predict what my audience needs with crazy accuracy? Would you be interested to know what they're about to do? Yeah, I thought you might be. This kind of insight that I'm going to share with you today will be so powerful in you planning ahead for your messaging and your offers for your audiences, your studio audiences in 2021. And I've basically got proof. This is hard data that you can prepare with a sense of expectation for 2021. Now, I honestly can't believe that we're here. This is my last message to you in 2020, and you know what a year it has been. You might be feeling like this. It's quite polarizing, isn't it? You might be feeling like celebrating almost in some ways when it comes to your music studio, because you've managed to pivot your business, you've learned new skills, you've applied yourself, you've been adaptive and creative and innovative, and you've seen new successes. But honestly, maybe you feel like this. You're worn out because you've really experienced some hardship this year. You lost some students, revenue, and you felt like you were just constantly scrambling to try and cope with all the change that was happening. And either way, I know that a lot of people are honestly just feeling a bit worn out. And I mean, I can put my hand up for that too. But I want to give you some words of encouragement about why you should actually be ramping up for 2021. So now you might be feeling like it's time to wind down, but think again, because I've got some exciting data to show you that's proof that the new year has new opportunities for you. And I want to get a bit real too and talk about how to set expectations and goals for next year, and how to do so without accidentally sabotaging yourself. So let's dive into these two data sets. I'm really excited to show them to you. So the first one here is using a tool called Google Trends. And if you haven't heard of it, it's a free tool. You just can literally type it into Google and trends will pop up. And what it does is it shows you relative search popularity of a given keyword or phrase over a given period of time. And it helps you understand the seasonality of trends of a keyword, if there are any, which in turn helps you to plan when to create and to promote certain types of content. So if you've done any keyword research for your studio, if you have a blog, you may have optimized those articles using a technique called SEO, or search engine optimization. It helps give your content a boost on Google, basically. So if you have those phrases, you can enter those into trends and get an idea of when you can ride the popularity wave, so to speak, and promote your articles or your video tutorials or whatever it may be during periods when people are actually seeking out this information. So let's have a look at a couple of graphs that I think will get you a bit excited. So I've taken the very broad search term guitar lessons, and check this out. I've strung out the timeline to be the search volume or the relative search popularity over the last 5 years. And look at this. There's little characteristic heartbeat that you can see in the trends of search trends for that information, for those keywords. There's a regular surge in interest in guitar lessons over January and December each year. Now check this out. I've explored guitar chords, and if you overlaid those graphs, you'd see peaks during the same December-January period too. So you could explore creating and promoting content, offering a lead magnet, which remember is a free offer in exchange for an email address that allows you to nurture potential students into your studio. And you can do it on content that you know is being searched for at a particular period of time. So here's another couple of examples. How to play piano. Once again, you could just about set your watch by how predictable this pattern of behavior is. Now, these trend lines look particularly nice. Here we go. Here's another search term for learn piano. Once again, every year over December, January, you get that characteristic surge in interests for people who are searching learn piano. Now, these trend lines These look really nice, particularly for guitar and piano, and that's because they're very popular instruments. There's lots of data here. So don't be discouraged if the trend might not look so clear for your instrument, like mine, the flute. But over the years, I've developed my own little data bank that has revealed to me the same patterns in behavior, and I'll show that to you now. So this is through affiliate data. So I promote an affiliate course on my website, which means I promote a course that's created by someone else that I have fully vetted and endorsed, and I recommend it to my own community. And if someone decides to buy it and they are part of my community, I get a very small commission for that sale. And there are two important reasons why I decided to do this. Firstly, I didn't have the capacity to create my own course myself, and so this was a great second option. And secondly, before I decided to create my own course myself and invest all that time and effort in doing so, it helps me to validate the demand for that type of information with my audience. So this next graph I've put together is a representation of the sales that I've made over 2018 and 2019, and each bar each month is a proportion of the total annual sales. So for example, in January 2018, approximately 17% of my total sales were attributed to that month. So that's how you read that graph. And on the left here is 2018, and on the right here is 2019. Now, as you can see, there are some characteristic spikes here over the month of January as well. So it's very similar to the Google Trends graph that I showed you, but this trend is not actually obvious in Google Trends for learning flute. So you can see here that there were peaks in both January 2018 and 19. Not sure what's going on in May 2018, but there is a pattern emerging of a high number or high proportion of my sales, a high proportion of the interest generated over a year is being concentrated in that month of January. Now, I believe I've got part of the reason why we're seeing these annual predictable trends in learning a new instrument. Have you guessed it yet? Yeah. It's New Year's resolutions. That's right. So people are feeling their most hopeful, most inspired, motivated, and most open to learning new things at this time of year. And personally, I super enjoy this season of both reflection and vision casting. And this year, I know more than ever, most people are just ready for the calendar to tick over. We are just done with 2020. But even around New Year's, when we're at our most committed, most motivated, and most inspired, most people still aren't able to achieve what they set out to. So here we go. 28% of Americans will make at least one resolution. And this is data from last year in 2020. And these are the top results of a survey when asked, what are your goals? What are you working towards for the next year? And I think for us as teachers, there are a couple that are relevant when it comes to musical instruments and learning a new hobby and skill. And a lot of people are looking to reduce their stress and learn a new skill. And I think that we can really serve these people. And look, we come into the new year, 30% of us or so are really confident that we're going to be able to achieve the things that we say we'll do. About half of it say we're somewhat confident. That's not too bad. But the majority of the time, most of us struggle to achieve all of which we set out to do. So here, 64% of people, they have some of the same resolutions, so they didn't achieve some, but then they've generated new ones. And then an extra 12% on top of that, they're all the same, so they achieve none of what they set out to. So look, is it even worth setting goals? Are we just doomed to fail? It seems like the odds are totally against us. And particularly when you're trying to learn a new instrument, how can we help these people? So this is where I think you come in. because there are a couple of inherent problems with New Year's resolutions. When people make them, they aren't made systematically. They're often poorly planned, they're illogical, and they're a bit disorganized, okay? We don't often connect the dots and realize, hey, we may need to change more than one area of our life to achieve a certain goal in another. So, when it comes to playing flute and a specific goal, such as playing a certain piece, they may need to sequentially address numerous different aspects of playing. So the second reason is these goals generally lack accountability. And if you've only got yourself to answer to, it's incredibly easy to forget your resolutions as the busyness and distraction of everyday life take over. And you're an easy victim of your own negative thinking or low self-confidence, which can quickly sabotage success. So I believe to have the best chance of succeeding, you need at least one person tracking your progress, pulling you up if you cheat or if you're lazy, encouraging you during setbacks, and importantly, celebrating successes. And that's where I believe you as amazing teachers and tutors can help, because you help with both of those aspects. You make things logical and systematic. You guide people through a pathway of learning to help them get the very best results, not this haphazard sort of self-guided learning where you don't know what you don't know. And the accountability, the partnership, the mentoring is key. And so I believe there's a window of incredible opportunity to serve these people who have shown us year after year after year that they're there, they're wanting to learn, but they just don't know how. And so I want to encourage you to maybe change your messaging, position yourself to be able to serve them, to solve a need or a problem that the data is showing us that they are having. And I'm your biggest supporter and encourager. I want you to see new successes next year. And I want to encourage you. Now is not the time to pull back. It's the time to plan your messaging if you have an email list or a Facebook group or page, or even in your own paid advertising, to reflect the needs that people in your musical niche are experiencing over the next coming weeks. I would love for you to capitalize in this surge of interest and welcome even more new students into your studio this year.